if you're ever murdered, you definitely want to come back and tell people how you were murdered so they can point out the guy who it was. It was you. I know it was you. Actually, it's probably you. But never mind. You want to come back, and the most effective way to do that is to write it down in a piece of paper. But that's too obvious. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to whisper. No, I got it. I'm going to come visit you in your dreams and give you the most abstract dreams you've ever had that do not correspond whatsoever to who killed me, where they killed me, or what they killed me with, and I'm going to make you guess. Matter of fact, bring over a bunch of friends and do this, and I'll give you all dreams, and we'll all sleep in the same room, and I'll bring you dreams, and then you guys can all guess. And then at the end, when you guys have all guessed really incorrectly, we'll then just mix it up and do it again. But this time it will be for real. That's Mysterium.
Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
Here's my version of Mysterium. I had the previous import version, but I'm going to show you what's inside so you can see what's different than the English version. I have a pretty big rule book. Mine is in a different language, so I couldn't read it. So I had to get a print out of a translation of it, which works just fine for me. I'm going to have a bunch of wooden cubes and markers that will be in here. I'll show you that during gameplay. We're going to get a small set of object cards, a few boards. This one will have a round marker that will show you. We're going to have a number of characters. Now these are different, I believe, than in the American version. So this is obviously like Sherlock Holmes, a geisha, the boy George. So a lot of different people in here. And we're going to have these huge tarot-sized cards. You can see the insert's just kind of generic, but it does have like a theme inside of it. So you get a number of these, what I call Dixit cards, which is huge cards with this kind of weirdo artwork on it. It's very beautiful. And then you'll get a number of cards that the ghosts and the players will use, and I'll show you what these look like in gameplay. So then we'll show you a little bit of how setup works. So what you're going to do is, based on the number of players, I'm just pulling out a couple just to kind of show you how it works. You're going to pick out a number of items, places, and people. And these will have different backs to them. So the brown side will be the players, and the blue side will be the ghost, as one player will be the ghost, and the rest of the players will be trying to choose. So the ghost will take matching ones of all of those. You can see the backs. And then he will shuffle these up, and you might have to eliminate a couple of those based on the number of players. You do the same thing with the people, so they're all mixed up. And the same thing with the items. So basically, the ghost will have piles of the same cards that are out, but just shuffled. So the ghost will take a number of these based on the number of players that are playing, and he will set these up randomly so that each player that is playing the game will have a set of 3, one item, one place, and one person. And any remainder that you have will just be discarded, and the ghost will not need these. So the ghost will have a pile of these. What I like to do is just set these aside, and I'll take a look at what item I'm trying to get. You're always trying to get them to choose the item first. If they get that correct, the next round they'll move to the place. If they get that correct, the next round they'll move to the person. If they happen to get something wrong, they'll try to choose that one again. So the red player is trying to guess the scissors, and the blue player, we're trying to get him to grasp this item right here. So what we'll do is we'll have a number of cards in our hand, these abstract cards, and we'll give one to each player. So we're trying to get them to get that middle one right there, what looks like a dumbbell. Well, maybe I'll give him this card because the colors kind of match, and he won't know what I'm trying to get him to, of course. Or maybe I like this. No. So I would give him this card, and I like to just put this here to signify that I've done it. It's just a reminder for myself. And then the other players can cooperatively try to guess which one of these items I'm trying to pull them to. If they get it, if they feel like they have a correct guess, then they're going to put a token on it to signify that's where I am trying to get them to go. And then, let's say I'm trying to get the other one to the scissors. I don't really have anything here. Maybe I like this because it has a cut. I'll give this to the red player, and they end up picking that. So at the end of the round, I'll let them know this one was correct, so they can keep this card. And the next round, they'll be trying to find a place. And the red, I'll be like, you were wrong. So next round, they'll still be trying to guess. Obviously, in this case, there's only one left. They're obviously going to get it, but this is just an example. So that's how you play, and you do that for each of the items. Now, the players are going to, if they get the first one right, move their little marker down and down. The players also only have 6 rounds to get all of this correct. In the last round, the game is played a little bit differently. What's going to happen is, if they get everything correct by the 6th round, then I will take all of their items that they got correct. I will shuffle them together, making different piles. So maybe I'll do this, this, and this. And these will all be gone. So now they have to choose between these 2 piles, and I'm going to give them, I'll have my set up here. I'm going to give them clues to try to bring them to one set of those. If they get those correct, then they have correctly chosen who the killer was, and we all collectively win the game together. If they fail this step, and we're out of rounds on the board, then we lose. So that's how this version of Mysterium works. It's a lot simpler than the American version. There's less going on. That may appeal to you or may not, but that's how this version works. Hope you enjoyed it. Mysterium is one of my go-to party games. I consider a game a party if we're laughing, having a good time, and it's very light. I can get nearly anybody to play it, and it usually accommodates quite a few players. In this one, I have never won. I found it to be very, very difficult, perhaps because I'm a terrible ghost at giving out the clues, or I'm equally bad at receiving those dreams and trying to figure out who killed you. Now, this is my clue killer. Whenever somebody comes over and they say, I love Clue, or I like Clue, or have you ever played Clue? This is the game I go to, either this or Mystery Express. This is the lighter version of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out Clue. I'm going to pull out Mysterium instead of Clue, and we're going to sit down and try to guess. And every person I've ever played with this is like, whoa, this is so much better than Clue. Clue's gone. Hey, can we buy this at the store? They sell this at Target. And I'm like, no, but let me show you where you can buy it. This game sells itself when you sit down to play it. People are going to love it. Now, the version you've seen is the Polish version. I do not have the U.S. release of this. It's something that's on my to-do list to get, but this version is so good, it's so much simpler than the English version, which adds a couple rules to it, that this is the version I just always kept, but I am looking forward to getting the American version, and I am looking forward to getting those extra cards and extra little doodads that come with it, and there's an expansion that's out for that. But this Polish version is just fine for me. If you can find this one cheaper, I'm sure it'll meet your needs, as it is still the same game for 99% of it. I love this game. I like the idea of the ghost not saying anything, handing out the cards, and everybody else at the table is working together. Now, the ghost is still working with you. That's fantastically fun because they can't say anything. And nothing is more frustrating to be the ghost, to hand a card over, and you're doing it because the colors are like, look at this background here. There's something in the background that reminded me of a movie I saw once. But when I went to go see that movie when I was 16... I drove this Mustang car, and I was with this girl who had blonde hair. So it has to be that, because that girl in the picture has blonde hair. How would I have known that? And those are the fun moments, and that's what makes it a party game to me, because it's just frustrating, and people can interpret it how they want. If you've never played Mysterium, I highly, highly recommend it to you. If you didn't like it, you probably were playing it a little too seriously. If you just play it as a fun party game, the game really comes to life. At the end of it, I like to say, oh, finally you got it. This is what I was thinking of. I boom, 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 boom. And they're like, ah, yeah. And nothing is more rewarding. Nothing is more rewarding than when you have this like obscure clue and they follow your train of thought. You're just like, yes! Mysterium by far is my go-to party game. It's my clue killer. It's a game that will always be in my collection. This is what I'm going to highly, highly recommend. This is the cream of the crop. This is a game that can stay in your collection for a very long time. Side note, you can bring, if you have Dixit or other games that use the same art style, you can definitely bring those into the game and utilize them in this game. Absolutely. So if you have the Dixit games, you can have a big stack of cards, just in case these kind of run easy. But listen, there's a lot of cards in this deck. There's a lot to do, and you will have a lot of fun with this. If it just doesn't seem like something that's for you, so be it. But for me, this is an evergreen. This is a game that will stay in my collection probably forever and definitely a long time. Absolute keeper for me. This is what I'm going to tell you to search this one out if you don't have it. This is one you should be playing. Absolute winner. I can't say much more good about it. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel. Lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing games.